Hello friends, welcome to Joy of Life. So in this video, we are going to talk about how to get interview calls from big tech companies. So many of you has asked me over LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp that how did I get the call from Microsoft or how did I get the call from Adobe and what are the challenges in getting the call and how do you overcome the same. So we are going to understand this in a lot more details. We are going to look at the problems and we are going to identify some areas wherein it will increase the chance for you to get the interview calls. To start with, I would like to talk about the interview process, how a opening comes up, and how things happen in a product-based company or big tech companies. So let's first understand that in a little more details, and then we are going to deep dive into some of the areas to understand how we can improve our chances. Let's say this is some big tech company, as you see over here, and we have three teams. Generally, there are more number of teams, but let's try to understand with three teams over here: Team A, Team B, and Team C. Each of the team has a manager denoted by the person at the top and may have many employees. So let's say each of the team has 3 employees, right? So under what circumstances the requirement comes up? Let's say this employee over here, he moves out of this company. So this team has a vacancy to be filled up, right? It has a vacancy. It has one open position which needs to be filled up. So in that case, what happens is a requirement is opened to hire somebody new and the requirement is sent across to the recruiter. Let's say this is our recruiter over here. So what happens is the manager of team B will send out a request, which is often called a job description. A JD is sent across and the recruiter is supposed to fill up that position. So a JD is shared from the manager to the recruiter. Another circumstances could be a team is expanding. Let's say team C want to do something new and it has a place for and it needs 4 new employees to get the work done, right? In this case also, a JD will be shared by this manager to the recruiter to fill up these 4 open positions. So in this case, similarly, once again, a JD will be shared from this manager to the recruiter. And now the recruiter is responsible for filling up the position. So we have 5 open positions over here. So what are the choices for a recruiter in order to get the employees? So one choice could be the recruiter posted into the company's internal job portal or the internal job website. So almost all company has an internal job website, which I'm going to show you shortly. Or the recruiter can reach out to sites like LinkedIn, wherein it's a professional network and you might be aware of it. No need to mention about it. So you can just go ahead and search for Google Jobs. You'll first get like careers.google.com. Similarly, for any site, if you just go ahead and search for it, the first thing you'll get is the company's internal job portal. It's internal in the sense it's only Microsoft jobs or let's say Adobe, and then you can just put Adobe jobs, you'll get Adobe careers. Similarly, for any company, you can just pick up and just go ahead and search it. You will find their careers at Apple. So any company, you can just put the name and you can find the website for the same. So these are the choices the recruiter can go for. Apart from that, what else the recruiter can do? The recruiter can reach out to third-party companies. So these are independent companies who looks for the candidate and fills up the resume the recruiter is looking for, the type of resume. So the recruiter, so another option would be to reach out to these folks. So there are many such companies who does this screening for the companies and provide the company with the suitable resumes, right? So these recruiters will reach out to mass number of employees to fill up the position and they will be getting some money based on the contract they have, right? So they will be eventually talking to all the people that is out there in the market looking for jobs. So in the process, there will be a lot of calls coming to the candidates and based on their interest and the profile match, based on the basic screening, the recruiters, the third-party recruiters will send out the resume to the main recruiter, which is Microsoft, who's going to schedule these interviews. Not only that, even the main recruiter from the Microsoft or any company, whatever it is, he will also start reaching out to many of the folks, right? And in this process, they will start collecting the resume in a database, all the resumes, and based on that, it will start sending out the invites. Soon they will have a lot of resumes on their database based on the openings and it will send out the invites to the different candidates. Now, once you get the interview call, due to pandemic, you might have an online invite. Otherwise, you'd be invited into the campus. If they have any screening rounds, some companies do have some screening rounds. If not, they are going to invite you to the campus for the recruitment day, right? So if there is a less number of candidates, what will happen is they are going to invite you on a day-to-day basis on the weekdays. And if there are more number of candidates, then the interviewer might schedule a drive, right? So let's say you have 40 openings, not 4. In that case, what will happen? You'll have more number of profiles. So now let's understand why it is difficult to get the call. So once we understand them, we will try to figure out how to increase the chance of getting more calls. So one could be your profile mismatch. So it might happen that you don't have the right skill set required for the job, maybe in terms of technologies, in terms of experience, in terms of expertise in what you are working. So many things could factor in, right? So definitely there are some priorities which will be taken into consideration before inviting. So let's say I have a single opening over here. So let's say I have one opening over here, and for this one opening I have got, let's say, 300 profiles. Now I cannot invite 300 profiles, right? There would be 4 rounds per candidate. So I have 300 candidates. So 300 into 4 is like 1200 hours of interviewing time, right? Which is not feasible. So I have to prioritize based on the resumes that I have received, right? So maybe for this one open position, I would invite 10 candidates, right? And if they are not going to click, then I will call another, say, 15 candidates. If not, maybe another 20 candidates, right? So now just try and understand the probability of getting a candidate selected is 90% over here, 80, 70, and so on. Why I'm saying so? Because definitely I am going to call the best of the candidates in this first end, right? So chances for them to getting through the interview is pretty higher. So what could be those criteria that I am talking about over here? So the companies that we are talking over here are mostly product-based companies. So definitely if you are working in a product-based companies, your chances of getting the call in the first 10 or 15 slot is pretty higher, right? Even if it is a tier 2 product company, still the chances are little high. Now you do have a chance to get a call even if you are from the service company, nothing like that. But do understand that what they are looking for is the best fit in this case, right? The second thing that is important over here is your skill set mapping. So what are the skills that you possess, right? What are the right match for you? So that is also taken into consideration, right? So let's say if there is an opening in Microsoft, right? So Microsoft has a wide array of products, right? So when you're applying for a job in Microsoft or any other companies, do check out that if it is matching with your skill set or not, right? So let's take a quick look on that. So here I am at the Microsoft page in LinkedIn, and let's go to the job section, and you will find the recently posted jobs, everything listed out over there. So here we are. So you can see that there is a senior software engineer, be an early applicant, senior software engineer. So senior software engineer is a very ambiguous thing. So you have to understand senior software engineer in which field they are looking for. So do go ahead, read about the job. So you can see that it's a part of Azure data team. So if you have a similar kind of experience and expertise, you will stand out from the rest, right? We build reliable, high scalable, and high performing distributed systems. So if you have those things in you, definitely you have the edge over the other candidates. Azure data governance team is looking for strong front and middle tier developer who is proficient in web technologies. So you have to see that your skill set matches with the same or not. Are you from the web technologies? You should be using your expertise to work with highly experienced distributed system and cloud services. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, so on and so forth. So do read about it. The qualification part is definitely important, but the most important part is the about the job and the responsibilities that they are going to hand you over, right? How good a fit you are in this case, right? That's going to determine your chances for getting the job. It's not what company you work for, but what skill set you possess. So let's give you a very naive example over here. Let's say OneDrive is doing a hiring. I have only one open position and I got 2 candidates, and I can call either one of them. So let's say I got a candidate from Google, right? And he's working in, let's say, Google Maps. Sounds good, right? He's a Google engineer, right? The other guy works for Dropbox. Whom are you going to call in this case? Definitely, I would go for a Dropbox kind of guy, because OneDrive is similar in terms of functionalities and usage, right? And definitely, had it been a Google Drive guy instead of a Google Map guy, I would have given him the priority. But nothing like that. In this case, I will say both are equally poised, right? Both are equally good engineers. both are equally matching skill set over here. So definitely both has a equal chance. So in this case, I would say it would be a 50-50. But had it been a Google Maps guy, I would say it is 10 to 90. That's a normal human thing, right? Because this is a very close match to what we are expecting, right? Now it might happen despite of having all the required skill set, you don't get a call because you get too many applications, right, per job. So if I have 1 to 100, if a single job attracts 100 applicants, so definitely, like if I break it to 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and so on, and 91 to 100. So if you fall somewhere in 51 to 60 category or lesser, the chances is very slim for you to get the call even. It might happen that your profile is completely overlooked, right? They got a match over here itself or over here, right? It never came down after that, right? It's highly possible because when Google, Microsoft kind of jobs goes out in the market, all the good engineers try to grab it, right? And your chances might go down. So definitely a guy from Google will have a edge over you. A guy who's from Facebook is having a edge over you. Now try and understand there could be other scenarios as well. So there is a job that is posted over here in LinkedIn for this team B, let's say. Okay, so what happens is this guy from team C, he wanted to move to the other team, which is team B. He finds that profile to be interesting, so he made a move from here to here. So this guy over here, he just makes a move over here. Now rather than saying I have 4 openings here, I have 5 openings, right? So the dynamics might change. So in a big company like Microsoft, what happens is there are internal movement. People from GitHub or LinkedIn, which is also part of Microsoft, can make a switch, right? So definitely the priority will be given to them in that case. And that's what the third point is all about. It can make a job posting stale, right? It might happen that that job, they are not accepting any more application, but it is still posted there, right? It might happen. It happens almost all the time, right? So far we have seen what could be the bottleneck over here. So the bottlenecks lies over here. So we have a filter over here, you can say. So this filter might cause the problem. So what happens basically, this filter is applied and some of the profiles are shared to the recruiting managers. So he has given the JD and now what he receives is one of the resume from here. So the HR says, okay, I find these 2 resumes to be good, and it is shared with the manager, and the manager does his final scan and says, okay, go ahead, and they are invited. And out of these 2 candidates, one got selected. So it might happen, right? So you are not getting the call over there. We have also talked about different modes of hiring, that anonymous walk-ins. Anonymous walk-ins don't happen in a product-based companies, at least the big product-based companies. So anonymous walk-ins happen mostly, I have seen, with the service-based companies, wherein you have a lot of candidates, and if your criteria matches, you can just walk in the day without an invite, even if it just matches your profile. What happens in product-based companies I have seen is interview drives based on invite. So you'll be shared an invite. So an invite would look something like this. So here is one of the invite emails that I am showing you, that you can see over here. We are thrilled that you have decided to interview with Microsoft. Our team is committed, and whatever. And it has all the details that it's a managerial round. And prior to that, all the rounds will be there as well. You can see over here that there is another invite. So you will keep getting invites as and when you clear the rounds. So you can see there is a bunch of invites sent to me over here as well. Not only Microsoft, but all the companies do have it. So you can see here, this was an invite from Google. This was from LinkedIn. This one is from Salesforce. So all the companies will have this invite, and they will call you for the drives or for the normal round. And we talked about the third party recruitment agencies as well. So the third parties will also participate, wherein they will be looking for the candidate and they will be passing over to the Microsoft or any company recruiter. And lastly, the direct company recruiter. So this person will also try to find some contacts. If somebody fits the criteria, he or she is also invited for the interview, and the process goes on. So again, who you are depends a lot. So are you already working on a product based company? Even if it's a tier 2 company, that's also fine. But yeah, you will be given a priorities. And the second is your skill set mapping between the job and your skill set. So definitely there has to be some match in order to get the interview call, right? Since they have a huge number of resumes on their bucket from all the premier companies or all the big tech companies, so definitely they'll have a strict criteria. Now coming to the important part, how to increase your chances. So let's talk about that. So let's look once again over here. So we see that even if your resume reaches over here, you have a filter over here. The recruiter is going to take a look at it. He is going to send it to your manager, and the manager is also going to take a look at it, right? So these are all your checkpoints. Not only that, all the lines that's going out from any of the recruiter, maybe this recruiter or these recruiters. So all these black lines that you see are basically a filter that might block you from getting the call. So this line does not indicate that he's calling you and checking with you. Maybe he's checking your profile on LinkedIn, but you are not getting the call. So he scans your resume and your resume does not fit in. So all these lines act as a filter. All these lines act as a filter as well. The main recruiter over here is also checking your profile. So it might happen that it failed to make it to this main database over here, the candidate database, or it might happen that even if you have it in the candidate database, and then the filter which the recruiter is going to scan through after getting all the resumes could be a bottleneck. And it also might happen that your resume, when shared with the manager, he also might not like it. So there are so many checkpoints and filters we can see that could prevent you from getting the call that you are looking for. So definitely one thing that you can do is, let's say this guy over here is you. This was our resigned guy initially, but let's say this is you now. One approach is to build a good professional network. So let's say you start connecting with the people from Microsoft or Adobe or Google or LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever company it is, the one that you dream for, right? And you try to connect to those people who are relevant to you. So who are relevant? If you are a software engineer, definitely a software engineer is a relevant connection. A senior software engineer is a relevant connection. A principal engineer or an engineering manager is a relevant connection. A recruiter is a relevant connection. Try to build those connections. So send out a request to them. Try to get connected with them, and then try to find out the job from LinkedIn or their portal, and then reach out to them saying that if they can refer. Try to have a conversation with them in his free time. So talk about your aspirations, what you are doing to achieve it. You can ask him for a referral, right? So everybody is happy to refer a good candidate, and there is no harm in connecting as well, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a professional network. I don't judge when I get anonymous friend requests, so you can send me requests as well. So I'm more than happy to help. If you are genuine guy and trying hard, I'm really happy to help. So once you start building a good number of connections, right, the job is not going to come to you. You have to do something in order to reach it, right? So start building good number of connections. And what might happen, and it has happened with a guy who has connected with me, and later I found that he is planning to join my team in a company, not in Microsoft, but in different companies. So let's say you connected with him and you told him about your aspirations and you are looking for a job. Now this team A guy, he knows that there is an opening in team B, and let's say this guy over here knows this guy from team B. Let's say this guy is a friend of this guy. He forwards your resume to this guy, and this guy then shares the resume with the manager saying that okay, I got this referral from a trusted friend and he said he's a nice guy. Now what happens is this manager is sending your resume to the recruiter to schedule a call directly. Now this has turned out to be something different. So your manager over here shares your resume with the recruiter, asking her to schedule an interview with you. So you can understand that you are skipping this entire process of filtering your profile and many things you're just skipping, and you are just going through a connection, right? In many companies they do say we prefer what you refer, right? So definitely a huge preference is given to the guy who's being referred, right? Because the referral is always backed by some good words, right? Somebody is referring you, that means he's convinced that you are good, right? So try building this network and try to be genuine. Don't try to fake things over here. So this is a very transparent channel. So be genuine. If you are not ready for it yet, you can get tips from him as well on how to get ready. And once you get a call, once you get an interview call, now what will happen? The recruiter will directly reach out to you. So you will get a call. So you will get a call now, and be prepared for the interview. So when you start doing this kind of thing, be well prepared. Don't end up losing the opportunity that you are getting, right? So one way is you can apply through LinkedIn, but the other way is to build a solid professional network, which could be really, really helpful. Just 2 points over here is to you can try to find the appropriate job and apply from LinkedIn, or use a networking site to build a solid professional network, right? So you can connect to the relevant person, as I mentioned, a senior software engineer, a principal engineer, engineering manager, recruiter, and then you can tell that I have the required skill set for this particular job, and I want you to refer me, or something like that. Okay, now the next part and the last part is, so what to do in case you get the interview call. Prepare well for the interview. I would say that most of the companies do have a cool down time. So if you clear it, nothing like it. But if you don't, then it matters how you are giving the interview. So you need to make a mark so that you get a call after the cool down period. Many companies like Google, Adobe, they have a cool down period. And after the cool down period, you are going to get a call again from the recruiter. So don't end up losing that opportunity that you are getting doing nothing, and doing really, really bad in all the rounds. So be prepared when you are giving the interview, and connect to the recruiter over the LinkedIn. Connect the same day when you receive the call. Go ahead and send a request in LinkedIn to professionally get connected to that person. He or she now knows you, right? Just spoken an hour back or something like that. Don't delay. Just go ahead, send out a request saying that we spoke and I just wanted to add you to my professional network, right? It might be helpful later. So that's a very good thing to do. That's a step forward to building a good professional network as well. And another extra tips that I wanted to give you. So let's say even after trying many a times that you could not get the job that you are looking for. So in big tech companies, I have seen that in Microsoft, Adobe, I have seen that they have employees from the third party. So you will be in the payroll of the third party, and what will happen is you'll be joining the team over here, and but you will not be in the payroll or employee of Microsoft. You will be a employee of a third party recruiter. Now that could be another way. I have seen in Adobe that if you perform well for many years, then you have a chance of getting absorbed by Adobe itself, right? So you will be working with the other team members who are from Adobe or Microsoft or whatever company it is, but you will be working for the payroll of some other companies. It could be some service companies, it could be some companies who's completely into outsourcing employees. But many a times I have seen in Adobe, at least, you have a high chance of getting absorbed by this employer whom you are working with. So do check out on that. This could be one. This could be another helpful tips to get into the tech company that you are targeting for. So yeah, with that, I'll end the video. I hope I was able to give some points over here, and you have a complete understanding of how and why you are not getting the call, and what you could do better to improve your chance of getting the call. So all the best. Do give it a try. If you want to connect to me, reach out to me over LinkedIn. You can find my LinkedIn profile from the banner of the channel. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And thanks once again for watching. Have a great day, and bye bye. Take care.